Welcome to the channel. This is Coach Charles on the soccer benchmark. Now, Jed Spence was voted man of the match in the game between Tottenham and Manchester United. Jed Spence, a right back who was playing on the left against Manchester United, was voted the man of the match. So it tells you how bad Manchester United have fallen, because it is not conceivable. Even Maddison, who scored, was not man of the match. It was Jed Spence, because this guy kept on piling pressure on United's defense every other minute. He was running our defense ragged, He was turning Dalot left and right. He was turning Mazrui in and out. He was turning Bruno Fernandes upside down. This Jed Spence just ran the show, and this kid is a right back who was playing on the left for Tottenham. So basically, United are shit. So welcome to the channel. This is Coach Charles on the soccer benchmark. Now, consider subscribing as we discuss this Manchester United shenanigans that seem not to be ending. Now, a game like this, United were expected to perform better, because if you look at Spurs' performance in the last 10 games, these guys have not won at their stadium. They have not won. The last time they were beaten by Ipswich, in the stadium, in their own home ground. But when it comes to United, it's like Spurs transformed from that bullshit club or bullshit team to Arrigo Sacchi coached AC Milan. It's like they bring their A game on the night and they outperform everybody. If you look at the Spurs goalkeeper, Vicario, this guy was super human yesterday. He was making saves that are not supposed to be made. And remember, he was just back from injury for the last 11 weeks. So it begs the question, are we that bad that we can't score, we can't put a ball through a keeper that has not been playing for the last 11 weeks? And why will Jed Spence be the man of the match? It shows you that our system is cumbersome. And if I look at the players that we had yesterday, the players that were available for Ruben Amorim, after 4 players went down injured, 4 players went down injured in one training session. Was The Rock training these guys? Were these guys being trained by Stone Cold Steve Austin? Were these guys being trained by Mike Tyson? Kicking them, punching them, biting their ears, because you cannot tell me that 4 players can fall down injured, and one of our best players, basically in this season, in Ahmad, is out for the whole season. So who was training this guy? What was the training like? Was this a military drill? Were these guys being trained for Navy SEAL action? Because it really begs the question, why would you have 4 players dropping down injured? Now, with the injuries, it brought a situation whereby Ruben Amorim had to go for the kids. So he brought 8 of them to the bench. Obi was there, Kone was there, and other players, other young players were on the bench. The only senior player who was on the bench was the Iceman, Victor Lindelof. So the game panned out the way we didn't expect. The first 20 minutes, Tottenham were basically all over us. These guys were on our eyes, were in our noses, in our mouths, in our ears. They were scratching, kicking, bowling, punching. They were doing everything to Manchester United in the first 20 minutes, and they had their goal within that first 20 minutes, because they were really convicted. They knew they are going to have this goal as early as possible. So it brings the question, what do our 3 centre-backs do for Manchester United? What is their role, basically? Because we had Mazrui, we had Maguire and Depleted at the centre. So when the ball came in, after Dalot feeling overwhelmed by Jed Spence and Son, these guys just overloaded that side. They made sure that Dalot was overwhelmed, because Bruno could not be able to track back the entire game. That is the role that he was given in the first half, to make sure that he tracks Jed Spence so that he ensures he doesn't bring in crosses. But as a midfielder who is creative and likes mobility, he was not there in this particular case. And when the ball came in, Basically, our three center backs were standing there doing nothing, marking nobody. They did not do anything to effect that particular game. So that period made me ask the question, what is the role of these three center backs? Because it's a waste of space, basically. If they are not going to do their jobs, then put in some attackers, put in some midfielders, yeah, overload other areas and let this defense be light. Because if you have Delete, Maguire and Mazrui not able to mark, not able to clear the ball, not able to react fast enough once Onana parried the ball, so what is their role? What is it that they are doing for Manchester United at this period when their leadership and their skills and their experience is needed? What is their role? And that is a question that Ruben Amorim must just answer for the fans to understand. Because surely, what is their role? Now, if you look at what Casemiro brought into the game yesterday, I think he did well. Because that is something that we didn't expect of Casemiro. He's not been playing. He's been on the bench most of the time. So when he was brought in after these many injuries, he did his part, But he was leggy. He was caught on the ball so many times. He was losing possession. He was being double marked sometimes when he received the ball. I think they made sure that every time he receives the ball, he's pressed so fast and then he loses the ball. That is something that was replicated almost in the entire pitch. But the only player that really came out with his name and his reputation intact was Zaxi. Because Zaxi yesterday was really, really good. He was holding on to the ball. He was giving those passes, albeit he was taking a bit of time in some situations whereby he would have just given a one touch, but he never did that. But still, he performed way, way better. And Hodgland was not that bad. Yesterday we had enough shots on target. In fact, we did better. Previous games, we've had situations whereby Manchester United do not even get any shot on target. So we had 16 goal attempts. And shots on goal were 6. Tottenham had 22 goal attempts with 7 on target. So possession-wise, these guys outpossessed us. They were on 57 out of 43. That is for Manchester United. So you can see this is a game that was played, it was really balanced, and United did not take their chances. If only we took our clear-cut chances that we had, we could have won this game. But then, my biggest question is, why was the coach putting all those kids on the bench only to give one of them 3 minutes, ensuring that he doesn't get to even touch the ball? Why would you bring Obi in the 90th minute only to not touch the ball? In fact, he was brought in when we were defending a bad throw from Onana that led to Dogu fouling. I think was it Johnson, one of the Spurs player. So he came in to defend. So why would you bring that kid late in the game like that? Give these kids a chance. In fact, the coach missed the free hit chance to be able to just play these boys. He could have brought in Kone, could have brought in Obi so that at least we see what these boys can do. In fact, it is interesting that these boys, when they're seated on the bench, they feel like they are better than the team that is currently playing, because that shit we saw was a shit show. And the coach really needs to do something. We cannot have this game against Everton that is coming up next played like this. Because if we play like that, Everton will basically beat us. And David Moyes feels like he can easily beat us. He's not lost since he joined Everton just the other day. He's had so many wins. He's had so many good performances. And a player like Beto is resurrected. He's scoring every other game. So if United are not ready for this game that is coming, the Everton against Manchester United at Goodison Park, it's not going to be easy. Remember, Everton won their game. Remember, Everton beat a drew with Liverpool. So, with the United performing like this, there is nothing much to expect. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing for this channel. This is Coach Charles on the Soccer Benchmark.